Hi, I am B. Janardhan Reddy. In this video, I am going to tell you about wave nature of light, electromagnetic waves and their characteristics, the concept of spectrum and electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, you must have observed the formation of a rainbow. See here, this is a rainbow. Okay, so how many colors do you find in it? There are 7 colors in a rainbow. See here, what are they? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet colors. And if you read in this way, we can read it as VIBGR: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. VIBGR, 7 colors. Actually, these 7 colors are not seen distinctly or separately in an actual rainbow. Why? Because it is a continuous spectrum. Rainbow is an example for the continuous spectrum. Spectrum means group of wavelength. Each color has a different wavelength. I will tell you what are waves, what is wavelength, isn't it? So each color has a different wavelength, and group of wavelengths is called spectrum. Group of wavelengths is called spectrum, and it is a continuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum means all the colors we cannot see distinctly. That means one color overlaps with another color. That is, before ending of one color, the next color begins. For that reason, in an actual rainbow, we can see predominantly 3 to 4 colors only. That's why this spectrum is called as the continuous spectrum. Okay. Here I am showing all the colors in a rainbow. Okay. Rainbow VIBGR. VIBGR is a mnemonic used for memorizing the colors in traditional spectrum. Okay. Actually, mnemonic is a pattern of letters which assist in remembering something. Okay. So you can see the colors in the rainbow. Violet, V for violet, I, indigo, B, blue, G for green, Y for yellow, O for orange, okay, and finally red, R for red. Here, all the first letters in each color have been taken. V from violet, I from indigo, B from blue, like this. So if you read from the bottom to top, we get this mnemonic: VIBGR: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So these are the colors present in the rainbow. Actually, we cannot see all the colors distinctly in an actual rainbow because that is a continuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum means one color overlaps over the other color. One color falls over the other color. Before ending of one color, the next color begins. For that reason, in an actual rainbow, we can see 3 to 4 colors only. Okay, that's why it is called a continuous spectrum. So in this, each color of light has a different wavelength. Red color has one wavelength, orange color has one wavelength, isn't it? So yellow color has one wavelength, isn't it? All the colors have different wavelengths. Okay, you know, light travels in the form of waves like this. These are the waves. So what is a wave? How waves are formed in a medium. For example, this is a rope, isn't it? So these are the particles. I am taking some particles. Before the disturbance is created in the rope, all the particles are at rest. The particles are not vibrating, they are at rest. Suppose if I move the rope up and down like this, then what happened? That means here I am creating a disturbance. See here, when the disturbance is created at this point, the disturbance will be transferred from one particle to another particle and spreads throughout the medium. So here rope is the medium for creating the waves in the rope, isn't it? So these are the waves created in a rope. So what is a wave? The correct definition of wave is when a disturbance is created in a medium, that disturbance will be transferred from one particle to another particle and spreads throughout the medium. Here the disturbance only transmitting from one place to another place, whereas the particles are actually not moving. Instead, they are vibrating about their mean position, about a fixed point. See here, the particles are vibrating like this, but the disturbance is moving throughout the medium. This is called a wave. Okay? Light also travels in the form of waves like this. See here, when you throw a stone into a still pond, we observe ripples which are transmitting the disturbance in the form of waves on the surface of water. You can see that here also. Here you can see waves formed on the surface of water. Imagine that it is a still pond of water in which in the middle I am creating a small disturbance continuously. So how the waves are forming here, you can see these are the water waves. The medium for water waves is water. Here the disturbance is being created continuously and that disturbance is transmitted from one place to another place by these waves. Okay, so water doesn't move from one place to another place. Instead, it helps to transfer the disturbance from one place to another place by means of waves. These are water waves. Okay, here some stones are thrown continuously into the still pond of water. Then you can see how water waves are forming. Stones are being thrown continuously into the water. That stone is creating disturbance. That disturbance is being transmitted by the waves, water waves like this. These are water waves. You might have seen. Okay. You can see waves in the sea also like this, isn't it? These are waves, water waves in the sea. Okay. So here water is moving up and down, but the disturbance is going from left to right. So these are water waves. Okay. I already told you light travels in the form of waves. The question is, what type of waves are they? They are electromagnetic waves. Light travels in the form of electromagnetic waves. Then what is an electromagnetic wave? What are the components in an electromagnetic wave that we are going to learn? Okay, see here. When waves are created on the surface of water, water is the medium and water molecules or particles vibrate to and fro about their mean positions. Similarly, when waves are created in a rope, rope is the medium and the particles of rope vibrate to and fro about their mean positions. Similarly, is there any vibrating thing in order to produce electromagnetic waves? The answer is yes. See here, the only difference between water waves, waves formed in a rope, and electromagnetic waves is electromagnetic waves do not require any medium to travel. That's why they are called electromagnetic waves, waves that do not require any medium to travel from one place to another place. Isn't it? So here, how electromagnetic waves are produced. Remember, a vibrating electric charge produces electromagnetic waves. See here, electromagnetic waves are produced when an electric charge vibrates. Isn't it? So when water particles are vibrating, water waves are formed. Similarly, in a rope, the particles of rope are vibrating so that waves are passing in a rope. So in an electromagnetic wave, electric charge vibrates. Electric charge vibrates to and fro about its mean position. You know, the ordered motion of electrons or charges is called current. So when electric charge is vibrating to and fro, it means that the direction and magnitude of current changes. Due to this change in the direction and magnitude of current, it produces changing electric field. This changing electric field in turn creates a changing magnetic field. So in an electromagnetic wave, we have two fields vibrate. So a vibrating electric charge creates a change in the electric field. This changing electric field creates a changing magnetic field. Okay, so see here. This process continues with both the created fields being perpendicular to each other and at right angles to the direction of propagation of the wave. So when an electric charge is vibrating, This vibrating electric charge creates changing electric field. This changing electric field in turn creates changing magnetic field. These two fields vibrate perpendicular to one another, and these two fields again are perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of wave. So in an electromagnetic wave, we have two vibrating fields, electric field and magnetic field, isn't it? How these fields are created, just now I have said. Okay, now let us see the electromagnetic wave. Here you can see the electromagnetic waves, and this is an electric charge which is vibrating to and fro like this, and this vibrating electric charge creates changing electric field. The yellow colored arrows show the changing electric field, and this changing electric field in turn creates the changing magnetic field. This one is the magnetic field. Green colored arrows show the changing magnetic field. So here electric field and magnetic field both are changing perpendicular to one another. These two fields are changing perpendicular to one another, whereas electromagnetic wave is moving perpendicular to the direction of both. The wave is moving like this, but these two are vibrating, are changing perpendicular to one another. Okay, so these arrows are not the particles which are vibrating, just I am showing only the change in the electric field and change in the magnetic field. Actually, in an electromagnetic wave, there is no particle vibrates physically except electric charge vibrates at one point, isn't it? So at this point only electric charge is vibrating, and in the entire space here no particle vibrate physically. Only electric field and magnetic field are changing perpendicular to one another. Okay, so light travels in the form of electromagnetic waves, and I must tell you one thing, electromagnetic waves do not require any medium to travel from one place to another place. Okay, so here I am showing the components of electromagnetic wave. You can see here, this is the electromagnetic wave. In this there are two components, electric field and magnetic field. Electric field, this one is changing like this, and magnetic field is changing perpendicular to the direction of electric field, and this is the direction of wave. The wave is moving like this, and both fields are vibrating perpendicular to themselves and perpendicular to the direction of the wave, and the distance between the two consecutive crests, these peaks are crests, these lower ends are called troughs. So crest trough. Similarly magnetic field also, here is crest trough like this. So actually the electromagnetic waves are transverse in nature, and the distance between the two consecutive peaks, two consecutive crests, is called as the wavelength. From here to here it is wavelength. You can take from here to here also it is wavelength, or you can take from here to here, or here to here. This is called as the wavelength. And different waves has different wavelengths. Again, you can see here an electromagnetic wave, isn't it? So this red colored ones are electric field, and this green colored ones are magnetic field. So this is the change in electric field, and perpendicular to the change in electric field, magnetic field changes. Okay, and from here to here, the distance between the two consecutive peaks or crests, isn't it, is taken as wavelength. Wavelength is denoted by letter lambda. Okay, so this is lambda. Anywhere you can take, from here to here or from here to here you can take. So what are the components of electromagnetic wave? In an electromagnetic wave, we have two components, electric field and magnetic field. Both change perpendicular to one another, and again they perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of wave. Wave is moving like this, electric field is vibrating like this, magnetic field is vibrating like this. Okay, once again I will explain what is wavelength. Say this is a wave. In this we have peaks, isn't it? So these are crests and these are troughs. Higher peaks are called crests, lower peaks are called troughs. So the distance between the two consecutive crests, or the distance between the two consecutive troughs, is called wavelength. It is denoted by the Greek letter lambda, isn't it? See here, these are the waves. Waves forming on a rope. This is a rope. Rope at stationary. Now the particles, when it is vibrating, the particles in it will vibrate like this. See here. So crests and troughs are formed. The distance between the two consecutive crests, or the distance between the two consecutive troughs, is called wavelength lambda. And this wavelength varies from waves to wave, color to color. For red color, this wavelength is more. For violet color, the wavelength is small. Depending upon the wavelength, the color exists. Now see here, the color of the light depends on the wavelength lambda. Okay, you can see here, these are the different colors having the different wavelengths. From here to here is lambda r, that is the wavelength of red color light. From here to here is lambda v, the wavelength of the violet color light. Okay, you can see here, wavelength of red color light lambda r is greater than lambda v. Lambda r means wavelength of the red color light, and lambda v means wavelength of the violet color light. Okay, so vacuum means no medium exists, no matter exists. In vacuum, all colors of light move with the same constant speed, c equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. That is red color light, orange color light, yellow color, white color, all colors of light move with constant speed in vacuum. C equal to the speed of light. C equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. If you convert it into kilometers per second, we get 3 lakh kilometers per second. Light travel such a huge distance in 1 second, 3 lakh kilometers per second. So in vacuum, all colors are moving with the same speed. That's why, hence all the colors travel together and light appears white in vacuum. In vacuum, all colors are traveling with the same speed. That's why the mixing of all these colors is nothing but white color. But when this white color light is allowed to pass through a prism, then the speed of light changes in medium. The speed of light changes in medium. The red color light travels more speed than violet color light. That's why it bends less than white color light when it is coming out of the prism. That's why a prism separates all colors when a white light is allowed to pass through it. Isn't it? That's why rainbow is formed due to the water droplets. Water droplets also act as prism. Okay. Now I am going to tell you two more terms related to waves. This is a rope and there are some particles, isn't it? I am taking, and these particles are at rest before the formation of waves in it. Now I will form the wave by moving this end up and down. All the particles will vibrate about mean position, about a fixed point, to and fro. Isn't it? So this is the state. This line shows the rope when it was at rest. When waves are formed in the rope, it appears like this. So waves are moving from left to right. This wave is moving from left to right. Okay, you know the wavelength, the distance between the two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs is called wavelength. I already told you about this. Now let me tell you what is frequency of the waves. See here, I will observe at this point how many waves are crossing me in 1 second. Suppose if 10 waves cross me in 1 second, the frequency of the waves is 10 hertz. Hertz is the unit for frequency and it is the unit was derived from the name of the scientist, hertz. Okay, so frequency is measured in hertz. The number of waves crossing at any point in 1 second. Suppose if 1000 waves cross me in 1 second, the frequency of the waves is 1000 hertz, like this, and frequency is denoted by a Greek letter nu. See here, let nu be the number of waves crossing at any point in 1 second. This is called as the frequency of the wave, and c be the velocity of the wave. So here there are three terms related to waves: wavelength lambda, frequency nu, wave velocity c. And there is a relation between these three quantities. That is the universal relation holds for all kinds of waves. Then the relation between c, nu and lambda is given by c equal to nu lambda. That is, velocity of the wave is equal to frequency times wavelength. Isn't it? So in this relation, c is the velocity, nu is the frequency of the wave, and lambda is the wavelength. Okay, and this lambda varies from color to color. When lambda varies, nu also varies. When wavelength is more, frequency is less, because frequency varies inversely to the wavelength. Waves having shorter wavelength will have more frequency. Waves having more wavelength will have shorter frequency. Okay. Now let us discuss electromagnetic spectrum. You see here, this is the electromagnetic spectrum. So spectrum is nothing but group of wavelengths. Group of wavelengths is called spectrum. So this is an electromagnetic spectrum. In this, different types of electromagnetic waves have been shown. In the entire range of electromagnetic spectrum, only this part you see here, colored part, only this part, it is expanded below, only this part can be seen. This is called as the visible light. We cannot see the remaining portions of the electromagnetic spectrum, and this spectrum has been arranged from increasing wavelengths, that is, short wavelengths are at the left side, that is cosmic rays, whose wavelength is around 10 to the power of minus 12 meters, and gamma rays, x-rays, that is from one particular wavelength to one particular wavelength. Some range is there. That range of wavelength is called X-rays, and ultraviolet rays, infrared rays. Different waves has different range of wavelengths and different range of frequencies. Okay, so this is called as the electromagnetic spectrum, in which we can see only this portion. So the light coming from the sun or any burning object is this only, isn't it? So visible light, ultraviolet light, and infrared light. Visible light is from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers wavelength. 1 nanometer, milli, micro, nano, pico, that is 10 to the power of 9, 10 to the power of minus 9 meters equal to 1 nanometer. So visible light ranges from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. This light is visible. We can see this light. And the light whose wavelength is less than visible light is ultraviolet. We cannot see that light. And infrared rays whose frequency is more than red light is called infrared rays. That also is not visible. So this is the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Okay. And you can see wavelength in meters also, gamma rays, X-ray, same electromagnetic spectrum. Once again I am showing, in this only this portion can be seen. Okay. Radio waves, microwaves, infrared rays, depending upon their wavelength and frequency, they are classified. And types of electromagnetic radiation: from large wavelengths to small wavelengths. Here I am showing, and radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves. See here, and to which purpose these radiation or waves are used? Radio waves are used to broadcast radio and television. Microwaves are used in cooking, radar, telephone, and other signals. And infrared rays are used to transmit heat from sun, fires, radiators. Okay, and this is the portion in the electromagnetic spectrum called visible light, which is helps us to see things, so makes things able to be seen. And ultraviolet rays absorbed by the skin, used in fluorescent tubes, and x-rays used to view inside of bodies and objects, and gamma rays are used in medicine for killing cancer cells. Okay, so these are the different types of waves, electromagnetic waves. The thing is that these electromagnetic waves do not require any medium to travel. They travel even in vacuum also. Okay, thank you.